James catches, puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound Bosch. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
Is delusional. I'm sorry. I mean, he's on a podcast, right? First time he's really spoken at length. Really spoken at all since the Knicks let him go. And he blames everybody but himself.
I know.
He never says, you know what? I was awful. I stunk. Here's some of the. He blamed the media because the media is anti-Jim Dolan, so they went after him. Nonsense. You don't think that they wanted Phil Jackson to do well because Jim Dolan said he was stepping away. The reason they went after you, Phil, is you were terrible. You were a saboteur. The second thing he goes with is he couldn't trade Carmelo Anthony. You gave him the no-trade clause. The third thing he says is it was problematic. The coaches that we had couldn't really coach Carmelo because Carmelo fancied himself as a leader. You're the one who hired those guys. You hired Derek Fisher and Kurt Rambis and Jeff Hornacek. So you hired guys that weren't alpha males that could actually control a guy who's an alpha male. You did everything wrong, and you drafted Frank Ntilikina. So please, Phil, stop spinning, baby. It's making you look worse.
But why? Listen, he's still one of the great coaches in the history of the sport, right?
It's just a dreadful GM.
He tried to be a GM, tried to be a president, didn't work out. Why can't you just admit that you weren't good at it? Come on, give me a break. Even you could be the biggest. There was all those Phil truthers out there, right? I mean, any of them buying this? Come on, man. Don't lie to yourself. It's the worst lie you could tell. Just be honest. All right, I'm a good coach. I'm a terrible general manager. Done.
I mean,
he
so
gave Carmelo the contract. He hired all these coaches. You know why he hired them? Because he had to get guys to run the triangle. That's all he was motivated. Not to get Carmelo to play better with others. Not to get more out of Carmelo Anthony. You know, Fisher was hired because of the triangle. That's why he hired him. Right? All the coaches he hired were hired because they had to run his triangle.
And then he actually admits in the podcast that he was trying to coach from the executive offices. That's what he had Rambis in there for, but I couldn't do it, and physically I couldn't coach. So I thought the next best thing was to coach through the guy. Really? The triangle was a joke to force it. If you didn't like Carmelo, why'd you sign him to an extension and give him a no-trade clause? And then when he refused to allow you to trade him, you got mad at him? You hired 3 terrible coaches. Derek Fisher was terrible, over his head. Hornacek was terrible. Kurt Rambis was just an interim. I'm not going to jump Kurt Rambis for that. Everything and then he said, Dolan, probably did me a favor. Just fire me when he did. No, he did Knicks fans a favor because you would have driven us further into the ditch. I was startled that you have all these years of silence and you finally open up and you don't take any of the blame yourself that you are an absolutely god-awful GM.
At the very least, Phil, give me, you know what, I did a horrible job, but here's some things that maybe you didn't know. Or let me try to defend myself a little bit. I can give him that. But to just blame everybody but you when everybody knew it was you. Oh, that's so disappointing.
Yeah, that was not a good look for the Philster. Not at
all. Taken by Iguodala. They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown.